some issues with his team, and we're going to get the game underway. I think they just actually completed the knife round, so we'll be jumping into the pistol shortly as these guys are staying on the teams, it seems. So we do have myXMG playing the CT side and Team Orbit on the Terrace side here on season.
Yep, I'm looking forward to seeing what this one goes in the way of, like, who's it going to go in favor of, simply for the fact that, we had that discussion about the CT-sided map and the T, so, whether it was going to be a T-favored map as we know it should be, or whether the CTs were going to come out strong off the start. And of course, we talk time and time again when we cast CS about how important those pistol rounds will be, and it looks like Hütten, if I pronounced that correctly, I do apologize if not, has pulled out the Tech 9 to start this off. And if I'm not wrong, I think I got a buff the other day in a recent patch the other day.
Accuracy buff.
Yeah, accuracy buff. So it'll be interesting to see if he can put that to any good use. But here we go, guys. We are finally live here on Season between myXMG and Team Orbit. And let's see who's going to be able to get that initial first frag here. No picks as of yet, though. So teams taking it very slowly as things stand. And it looks like that bomb's just going to be stacked up in mid. No indication of where the Ts could be pushing off the start here, of course. Even if they do lose this first initial pistol round here, if they can get that bomb down, that's just going to boost their economy and help them out to try and get that early buy going here. But having a look at the map, not really too much going on here, and still no picks. We've got 50 seconds left.
Yeah, they're just trying to fill it out right now, just waiting for the nades to go away. And you can see they're slowly making their way in right now. And myXMG are reacting to this, what seems to be a B play. They're going to get a split going on as well, and Hütten with a sick frag to begin with.
There we go, so that's going to be 2 down already. It's actually going to be Hütten with his second frag in the round. That bomb looks like it could get planted, though, by myXMG, unless he's careful. There's got to be a player over the top. Alien, though, coming in strong, of course. This is the guy who is picking up here. We've got to remember for Orbit after Twist. He's not picking up again, not being their 5th, so now it's a 1-on-3 situation. Alien's going to get shut down eventually there by Tensky, and that's going to be first round on the board in favour of myXMG. Now, you did call that they were going to be the team probably to take this game. They are starting here on the CT side, which again, as we've already discussed, is the less favoured side. So the fact that they've got that first pistol round there on the board was great. And, you talked about the fact that they were able to just wait for those nades to come out, and then they were aware that Orbit was slowly pushing onto that A-bomb site, and they shut them down in good fashion. They're going to reward themselves with some rifles for that. So already a good start here for the Danes.
Yeah, and they're just going to hit it up with a quick kamikaze run. They didn't get the bomb down in the last round, so they're not going to be looking at really buying next round, unless they get the bomb down now. Actually, they're going to go for it, but looks like Asilion going to shut that planter down, so basically Team Orbit just going for the kamikaze run, trying to get that bomb down. They went for a complete full eco there, so the pistol armor is actually still available for them. As we can see, they got quite a lot of money that they could actually do a force if they really wanted to, but it would be a little bit awkward and not that advisable at this stage. So they are just going to go with a very light buy here instead of the pistol armor, which they could have potentially done. Yeah,
just a couple of flashbangs, a Caesar 7.5 in the mix, and a few P250s as well by the looks of things. And of course, what wasn't good for Orbit there is not only did they not successfully get the bomb down in the last 2 rounds, but they also, in that second round there, they only got 1 frag onto myXMG player. So that's only going to be 1 player who had to rebuy there. The rest are all able to keep their fan masses, which is exactly what they're going to keep in hand. And NSL's going to start things off here. That's a nice frag into Avian there as they're just pushing through mid. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to get anywhere too quickly, although that's going to be a nice respond onto MSL. So here we go. It's going to be the push from the T's coming in successfully. Maybe not so. Only 2 left alive. myXMG there down to 7 HP. He's going to get shut down any second now. In comes the pistol shot from Tensky, and myXMG secured the 3rd round on the trot for them. And now Orbit, there we go. They're going to be able to get those all-important AK-47s. And already now, this is what we talked about, that the AWP could come out. And we wondered if Avian was going to pick it up, but he's giving it straight to myXMG here. So let's see what work he can do.
Yeah, myXMG definitely going to be looking to go for a bit of a challenge with this AWP. I mean, lots of picking opportunities for him. Obviously, mid-control is something that would be really, really powerful for them, but myXMG looks like they actually are going to try to contest it. They have the nades in place to do that, to try to offset myXMG here, but he's still going to go for the peek, quick little peek there, and then he gets smoked off. So really early on, map control coming out from myXMG, very proactive, knowing that perhaps these big weapons are coming in for Team Orbit. So they're able to take the control, and this is really important and gives them a slight edge in the round, but we can see that the picks are actually happening here for Team Orbit, though there is the trade coming in for Tensky onto Pipe. So things are looking still pretty good, though, for Team Orbit, having an even situation here.
I love how aggressively Kevy's pushed down here, and he's going to spot that player, so that's going to be the headshot straight into the player there, and he's going to be able to pick up the 2nd kill. And not only that, he's got the bomb in mid, so that was really great because, we saw earlier on in that initial battle where that AWP was, we saw 2 CT players push down aggressively into mid there. They smoked off that player with the AWP, which was myXMG, and then they shut him down. So that play pretty much alone won them the round. Kevy's going to pick up the triple there, and he's also going to reward himself with the AWP just for his good work there. So, that's exactly what you can do here. here on a map like Season. If you get control of mid, push aggressively down here and catch them unawares, you can just shut them down in good fashion there. So 4-0 for myXMG here.
And myXMG are already setting the precedent for Team Orbit to say that mid pressure is something that they're very comfortable doing. This is a stylistic choice. It's very strong on this map to do that, but you don't have to do it. There's other ways to play the map. And as we see this eco coming in, the next buy for Team Orbit, it depends on whether or not they're taking this information, whether they decide to actually go for the straight up mid challenge, knowing that myXMG are going to put a lot of pressure there early round, or whether they're going to go for another option, which some teams like to do when they face teams who are being aggressive on mid, which is like a delayed mid take, so that their timings don't mean as much, their grenades, their counter grenades and pre-nades don't mean as much, and this can be a very effective way to deal with that as well. There's lots of options for them, but they have to be knowing like the pressure that myXMG want here on that mid early round.
Pyth with a nice headshot there as the T's do rotate over from the front of the A bomb site in towards mid. Are they going to be going right through the back? It looks like they could be, so the CTs have got to be aware of that. And MSL's going to be the first one on hand there, but he's going to get shut down. So this 5th round isn't out for the count here yet, or for Orbit. We've got to remember they were on an eco, and Pyth with his 3rd, I believe that will be. He picked up that first nice pistol shot. He's got a 2nd and a 3rd as well. But it's a 2 versus 3 situation as it stands. You've got one player which is going to be rotating back over towards the B bomb site. That's going to be Hunden, the man on your screen. He's not going to be anybody as of yet, though. And Tensky is going to be the man with all of the action coming his way as the bomb looks like it could be heading onto that A bomb site. So here we go. We've switched on board with him. He's knocked Pyth down to 13 HP. That's him out for the count. But the bomb has been planted, which, of course, on an eco round is a great achievement to get. So 2 versus 2 here. And I've got to say, I'm really impressed with the way that Orbit have taken this eco.
It's a 2-on-2 situation here. Obviously, the bomb ticking away. They do have 1 kit on Hunden there, and PB coming around the corner. He could actually save this round. He does get the first kill, the 1-on-1, and now this is incredibly awkward for Hunden now. He tosses in the nades, got to get the... Oh, he actually manages to make the frag. Very well done by Hunden there to do that, and he has just barely enough time to get the plant defused. Of course, though, so much economic damage done. They got the bomb down as well, so that's an extra $800, and we can see that, myXMG, they're going to have to rebuy a lot of weapons, so... That was a really crucial round for Team Orbit there, as we could see that myXMG were beginning to actually get a lot of economic control, but if they're able to do a lot more damage this round and keep forcing some of these big rebuys from myXMG, they're going to have a really good situation to actually take some rounds, but you can already see it's 5-0, so...
It's a difficult one, and with Pyth, picking up a triple like that, and then, getting shut down and the round being lost, it's going to be a shame for Orbit. We're going to be wondering to see if their heads go down after that, and whether they're going to be coming off the back of that eco lose, and whether they can pick themselves up after that. It's not all over yet, though. We know that they have got the ability to do these things, and it shows that myXMG have got to be kept on their guard. The fact that they took those first couple of rounds, and then suddenly when Orbit are on an eco, and you think, oh yeah, this is just going to be a straight 5-0 here, easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's not necessarily quite the case, and you said that could have really messed up myXMG's economy. And Hunden was only left on 34 HP. When he managed to get that defused. So Cillian here, he's the most recent pickup, of course, because I think it's PNX who actually wasn't able to connect to Steam or had some Steam issues. So he's going to be the next pickup here. And we'll see what he can do. Hunden's going to find one, not going to be able to get the second, though. Of course, the M4A1 with only 20 rounds in the magazine isn't going to do enough damage. So now it's back to a 2-on-2 situation. MSL is going to find one player there, and he's going to be able to shut him down. So that's PB out for the count here in round number 6. Bomb should get planted here by Pyth. He's got Tensky and MSL up against him. MSL only down to 20 points of health. So if we can just get that one-click headshot into him, it shouldn't be too much of a difficult job for Pyth to take this round. But I think this is starting to get crucial, because if myXMG start to get more rounds on the board, they're just going to start to run away with this one. That's a nice start, though. Headshot into Tensky. He's going to get the second one as well. So lovely 1 versus 2 from Pyth, and the bomb plant as well.
Yeah, it was a really sick quad kill from Pyth, and he was really the key player there, making everything happen for them. Obviously, I think I tried to highlight this before, like they have a lot of power, especially with a player like Pyth when it comes to the picking game, and this was really how they came back into the round. We had myXMG, now we're going into a pause. We had myXMG actually playing, instead of kind of a aggressive, play up mid, where they had people like around this close with all the counter grenades, like in this area where I'm scribbling, so that, because their timings of CT is slightly better. You can get to around this area when the T's are about like here, so you can get the nades down straight away right before they get to the angles. So they were typically using that. That past round, though, they were actually playing what looked like not a big presence on mid, but actually in reality they had a player around here, they had a player around here, and also one around here. So they actually had a possibility for very, very fast responses if there's mid aggression. And we saw that Team Orbit were very, very slow to try to actually push mid. They basically just came off of an opportunity that Pyth created for them because he just won his picking situation. They went for a peek on mid to see what was happening. Pyth immediately got the frag, and then off of this, with a player like Pyth, this is what your kind of star kind of players are all about: getting those quick opportunities and then seeing what else they can create out of it. And that was really important because it was around where otherwise Team Orbit didn't really have much of a plan. There was no real set plays. They didn't really have much in the way of map control. So all of a sudden, having this presence on mid gave them so many possibilities, and we saw that they were able to push through here whilst having some pressure on other areas of B as well to actually create a strategy, all off the back of Pyth's initial pick. So honestly, just really, really big props to Pyth for that round for Team Orbit. And we can see now that the economy is starting to look worse and worse, and it's now kind of an even situation on the economy. And they were so far ahead on that. I mean, we had the eco round where they lost almost every single player and had to do a full rebuy. They pretty much just had to do a full rebuy again. So really, really good stuff here from Team Orbit to try to get at least 4 to 5 rounds on the board.
And they need to do that again because, we talked earlier on about how this is a T-favoured map. And that's what's great to see, with a player like Pyth, when they've got this pickup. Of course, we talked about how the other day they were playing with Twist as their 5th, and now Alien's in here. It's great to have a player like Pyth who can, make those decisions, get those picks, call what's going to happen, and, and really make those kind of pushes, and then, lead the team to victory in rounds like that and pick themselves up. Because, again, we can't forget that Team Orbit hadn't got a round on the board, even though they did get 4 frags in that eco round in round number 6, I believe it was. They were starting to run away with this one myXMG. So when Pyth can pick up 4 frags like that and suddenly go, yeah, we're here to play, we're not going to let you roll all over us. I hope it picks up the performance of the rest of the team because, we had a look at the scoreboard just a second ago, and Mizaki, we're just about to start round number 7 once this last player connects, and he's not got a frag yet. So hopefully a performance like Pyth can not only make sure that his game is on top form, but the rest of his team as well.
And I feel like there's a couple options for myXMG from this point. They do have a lot of money. I think they had a lot of money on the player that actually dropped, I think, because he hadn't bought yet. But I think he had like around 5-6k, so there is a possibility for an AWP there, or an M4 and just a full buy of nades. So something they have to worry about now is that they know that there's going to be a lot of money that Team Orbit are playing with. So they're going to have, most likely, it's very feasible for them to have an AWP, basically. So this is something they've got to consider, again, when it comes to this mid area, because both teams, I love these scribbles, by the way, both teams have decided that mid is something that they want to control. It's a very standard thing this season. And we haven't seen a lot of kind of plays from Team Orbit yet using Underground for like kind of A splits, where you can actually just, as the terrorist, toss a couple smokes here to kind of cover your approach. Man, this wireless mouse. To cover your approach down to short, this area here, or you can go up underground and go up here. And the reason why it's important to show some presence in this area against mid is because if everyone goes underground, if everyone went up here and when everyone went up the ladder here, so that they were going to do an A split, let's say from this area and from this area, it's too obvious. It's too obvious for myXMG because all they have to do is, from seeing nothing on mid, from seeing nothing on B, just poke someone around B, just have a little peek. And then all of a sudden, as we're getting on pause, they will realize instantly that there was nothing there. So we haven't really seen the mid smokes from the T side yet. So I find that to be quite interesting that they haven't gone for that yet. But what it means is that they do need people like Pyth to start making picks. So myXMG, they can either go really close or this round, or be really, really passive. Either way, they should have an advantage, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how myXMG do counter that. Knowing what Pyth did and how quickly they're going to react to those kind of things that Pyth does, because he's one of those players that everybody knows. And I think if you start to shut him down, he's one of those players that you get a lot of attention on and go, okay, we need to make sure that
swinging back in the favor of Team Orbit. They just they're very close to breaking the economy now of myXMG. Obviously, we can see myXMG can still put together a pretty sturdy buy, but this round could very much change everything for Team Orbit if they're able to get the win here. Obviously, they're going to be forcing an eco. They're going to get basically 5-3 kind of scoreline, and things are going to start going well for them. But myXMG have so far been showing very, very strong play on mid, and Team Orbit haven't really shown, apart from some awesome picking from Pyth, a lot of ways to break that.
No, they haven't. We said about Mizaki, need to start picking up his game. We don't want to start calling players out for bad performances already, only 6 rounds or so in. But again, on this T side, you need to try and be able to pick up as many rounds as possible. So it looks like we're all good. Just there were a few discussions about money and whether everybody had the right economy or so. But it looks like we are set and ready to head into round number 7 we go. So as you can see, 5-1 in favour of the Danish team here. And let's have a look. It looks like that bomb's actually going to be heading aggressively over towards B there by the looks of things. So Asilian here, this this last player pickup is going to be the first line of defense there. He actually gets a nice incendiary grenade down there, which is going to back them off already, so that what looked like could be an aggressive push didn't come in well. And here we go again, having a look at mid. You can see that there's 2 CT players who have already got aggressive all the way down there, and now they're making their way back. Still no picks as of yet, though, but that was really interesting to see that they made their way down there, got that information, and then back straight away.
Yeah, myXMG have a pretty good idea of what's happening at the moment. Obviously, with the B stop right there, they had to kind of feel like they need to put an extra player there, but myXMG slowly, working things out. The smoke going to come onto mid, so Team Orbit actually retaking mid, like a very delayed retake of mid is really, really strong. Now, this actually gives them some options after having their initial plan kind of shut down by just an easy Molotov from Asilion. So now, if they can just get a pick or something, but it's going to be MSL that actually finds a frag here, and it looks like myXMG is slowly going to become more and more aware of what's happening now, but these mid smokes are going to obscure information for a small amount of time, which does give Team Orbit a little bit of play, but they are going to be backing out of mid here as they don't really have any split opportunities on B, just going straight for short.
Yep, going straight through for short here, and in comes the push. Mazaki's going to find Hunden there just around the corner. He's going to find one player there, though, which will be Tensky going down. That's nice. 2 quick frags there with that AK-47. MSL's got to respond, though, and he's going to get shut down, missing some shots there, and that is going to allow the bomb to get planted. So in comes this rotation here coming from the 2 players left alive here for myXMG, and they're going to be able to get one. That was Hütten actually pushing out relatively aggressively there after getting that bomb down, and the last player's going to go down as well. So that was a really interesting round to take apart there, because there was various things that happened. We saw that the CTs had good control, aggressive control of mid. They backed away from it, allowed Orbit to get through onto mid there, and they spent a lot of time around that area, eventually pushing through short. Mazaki got some nice entry frags there, and it's great to see him do that after not having too many great rounds before this 7th round. But it still wasn't quite enough there for Orbit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it looked a little bit mixy, that strategy there from them. They got very put off by the single Molotov there, which is fine, but they didn't have anything to really. It was something where they needed like another play to come in from another player here or there to kind of make something work, and we saw them kind of meander towards mid to try to do something there and try to see if they could get a pick, and then all of a sudden they were kind of smoked out of there, and then they couldn't quite push through there, so they kept like trying different parts of the map here, and we're seeing that myXMG are doing very well to work out what's happening, and right now they're actually getting some early kills here as well.
And it's always a bad situation for any team when they've really got to get forced down to those Galils, or of course the FAMAS on the CT side there. So PB and the rest of the Team Orbit squad not really looking too pretty on economy after myXMG did take that last round. And we talked about that discussion that if Team Orbit had have taken that 7th round, they probably would have forced myXMG down onto an eco, and this could have been a 5-3 situation here. So that 7th round could actually be pretty crucial in the long run of things here on season. So in comes the push. That's a nice pick there from PB. He's going to be able to take down Keve. So that's going to be a 4 versus 3 situation as the bomb looks like it's going to be wrapping its way round over towards that A bomb site. In comes the push. Down goes MSL. That's going to be one more frag to go here before they can try and get this bomb down. It's going to be Tensky to try and get some sort of work done, but it's not going to happen in the end. It's a 1-for-1 trade, as now it's a 2-on-2 situation. Hütten down to 21 HP and Pyth left alive as well. And it's going to be a 1-on-2 now. Asilion, this last minute pickup with that M4A1 in hand, has got some real work to do. He's got to try and pick out 2 players, and they know exactly where he is. The incendiary grenade comes in to try and force that player to back away, but it's not going to work. He's got to reload that M4, and he's going to go down. Great resilience coming in here from the Swedes.
Yeah, they're actually finding a lot of really, really nice kills. I mean, this is definitely what you'd expect from this team. Just they have more picking strength at the moment than we're seeing from myXMG. myXMG obviously with 2 early kills in that round as well. It should have been something they could have controlled. But Team Orbit kind of exploding out of a desperate situation. When you're in that spot, that's pretty much all you have left to do, is to pick up the pace and try to make something happen, which is risky. Just take a risk, go for it. And we saw that they are so far like very good at creating plays from that. And now with the eco here from myXMG, it's definitely not a scary situation. Things aren't out of hand just yet, but certainly their economic control that they had could have been something they could have grasped onto longer. But we'll have to see if they're able to pick things up. I'm sure that there's a lot of variations to their play that they can throw in here. They've mostly just been playing passively with rifles. We haven't seen a lot of AWPs coming into play really from them, and this is something that could be very strong against Team Orbit, who are looking for these picks. Like the AWP is such a good response for that if you put it in the right places. And but generally speaking, I do really think that the mid take and then falling back after the kind of early to mid-round information from myXMG. I think that's actually that's a very strong play, but perhaps they do want to start throwing in a little bit more aggression here and there just to see if they can just try to throw off Team Orbit, who seem quite comfortable now with myXMG's rhythm.
Yeah, exactly. They seem to just be getting their grasp on the game and starting to pick things up here. So it's going to be Tensky left alive. He has picked up an AK-47, which fell from PB earlier on. He did manage to take down another AK-47, but Pyth will eventually shut him down, confirming the third round on the board there for Team Orbit, and they were able to get that bomb plant down as well. So myXMG, it looks like they're going to force it up. MSL actually, he's got head armor, but he's only got one flash grenade and a FAMAS there. The rest of his team was relatively okay by just 2 more actually able to get head armor here. So again, myXMG, if they lose this round, they're not going to be sitting too pretty with economy here. And let's see what they do. As we have got Mazaki there. You talked about how that AWP could come in big. We'll see what work it can do. Pyth with the initial pick, though. We had a great discussion earlier on about what work he can do when he gets that initial information and makes those calls. And we'll see if that can play any dividends here into round number 10. 100 on 20 HP. He's going to be able to take down that AWP play, though, Mazaki there. And we'll see if anybody is going to decide to pick that up. Pyth is going to get his second kill of the round here. And, you know, if we talk about this player, he can just pretty much shut down teams single-handedly here, and he can really control a round. And it's looking like this 10th round here could potentially go in favor of Team Orbit if they keep up this good work. Is Asilian going to respond? Yes, he will. 3 versus 2 situation here, and the bomb's going to get planted on B.
So if we just do a quick check of the money, we can figure out whether or not they want to go for a save here with these rifles. I think a save is definitely quite viable for them, considering the fact that this retake, considering how far away Tensky was. The thing is, whenever your CT is retaking a site, you need, especially if you're man down, you need to coordinate your attack, and he's so far away, so he would have had. I'm not sure, was it Kevin that was left? I'm not sure. Whoever it was that was left, he would have had to wait like 10, 15 seconds just for his mate to get in position for them to attack, and there's already no time left to do anything. So I think save was pretty much the no-brainer there. So I'm not sure why we saw the kind of like solo push with the rifle.
No, it wasn't even looking like a kind of like exit frag, was it? It was just looking like some sort of push to try and get somebody who was just going on the bomb site. So yeah, not really the best decision there to challenge with that, but Tensky has been able to pick up that AWP, which was dropped, I believe. So at least they've got something out of it, but Team Orbit starting to make the comeback here, so 6-4.
Yeah, we'll have to see what in actual fact they're going to be able to do with this AWP, because it could throw a wrench into the works here for Team Orbit, depending on how confident they feel, depending on how they've read the money situation. But equally so, they can take this round very passively, as they know they're going to be outgunning their opponents, and they're going to go for a big presence on mid here, big mid take to try to figure out what's going on early and really give some support to the AWPer. And if there is a weapon that drops, they'll be able to pick it up together. And this is, they're going to try to do as much damage as they can onto the economy of Team Orbit. If they can actually pick up the round, that's going to be a massive bonus as well. And you can see the bomb is moving towards B now.
Yeah, they've been able to get that information from AWE, and the man on your screen who pushed onto that B bomb site and went, guys, there's absolutely nobody here. You can tell they're all mid, so get your asses over onto the B bomb site as quickly as you can, because you can get that bomb down with relative ease. So in comes the control on this 11th round from Team Orbit. Yes, it wasn't eco. Tensky knocked down a 74 HP there, but I like that tactic from myXMG there to try and get that control of mid, as you said, support that AWP play. It didn't quite work out for them though, unfortunately, and that's going to be the last player finished off as Keve does go down. Only 1 casualty for the T side. Mazaki just about being able to survive, I think on about 3 HP it was. So the CTs will be able to buy up here, but still Team Orbit, they're starting to find their ground now. We talked about it earlier on, and they're really showing that they can switch up the plays and do something a bit different here and there, and they're forcing myXMG to really be in a tricky spot with their economy.
Yeah, PB had a really good play last round, just keeping the guns away from myXMG. Going to see a quick pick there from Izaki, but Asilion with a nice double frag coming in against Team Orbit, who are trying to just open up the B bomb site and go for that B split. But we can see how offset it was from the mid control here. So very interesting there that there's such a staggered movement from the B side and then the mid side as well. So now myXMG, they get to take it one stage at a time instead of having everything hit them at once. And PB, who was in kind of a lurker role, he will pick up a frag, but again, the bomb is all the way on the other side of the map. It's going to go down now, and myXMG once again have an overwhelming amount of control to the round and the situation. And it's this lack of coordination from some of these rounds for Team Orbit that is definitely hurting them. But generally speaking, we're seeing that their individual skill is really what is by far, getting them the rounds. That's pretty much all that's getting them the rounds.
But it's not going to be enough, I don't think. Again, I know myXMG have got this player coming in was PNX who wasn't able to connect, so they have got a Cillian on here, so they are playing with it with a fifth that they may not be used to. But at the same time, we've got to remember that Team Orbit are on the T side here, and when you're winning gunfights like that, MSL just pops out there and knocks the head off Pyke. That's really got to be demoralizing.
Oh.
And then Tensky gets an absolutely massive headshot with that picked up AK-47 into PB, and that just shuts down the round instantly there. So we've got Hyutin and Mazaki, the last two left alive here, and you've got to wonder what that's got to do to the mentality of the T side here. Mazaki down to 11 HP. He's going to be the last one left alive here, and he's got to try and save that AWP or do something pretty miraculous with it, because otherwise they are going to lose that, and myXMG will just continue their dominance and continue their control that they've been showing here on the season. So, I mean, picking that round apart, it was almost over within the first few seconds, you would have thought, when Pyth was just shut down like that by MSL, and then PB was shot through the smoke as well, and he didn't really know what to do from then on.
Yeah, I mean, just this is what I wanted to see earlier from myXMG, just mixing in the aggression in an unpredictable manner. We saw that Pyth was just not ready for the one-on-one, and that element of surprise was what was able to give the kind of let's say the advantage there in that duel. As who was it? It was MSL. He had like an extra just a few milliseconds over Pyth to understand where to take the shot, and obviously that, I mean, the double frag was a bit of a like random occurrence. I mean, that was kind of nuts, just through the smoke, 2 headshots like that. But generally speaking, Team Orbit on the T side, they're really showing a lot of issues here. They're really showing that they haven't prepared season on the T side very much at all. There's a lot of plays that they're not doing, that they're not exploiting rotation times at all. They're relying too heavily on a picking style when this map is more about making the CTs move. And right now we can see that they're going to go further eco towards Tensky here. And let's see if Tensky's able to defend. In fact, they will actually get the kill into Tensky. So Tensky, he doesn't have anybody here to actually support him. And there's no one to throw nades in after he dies, or counter flash or anything like that. And myXMG's MSL has to do a huge amount of work.
Oh, nice shot there coming in from Kev with the AWP in hand. So it is going to be a 4 versus 3 situation. But again, we saw that player getting really aggressive there with that, which was Tensky getting aggressive over towards that A bomb site. And he said about the counter flashes there, and he was in trouble when he died, because they didn't realize that one player, which was Pyth, actually had the FAMAS in hand. And this has just been a pretty crazy round, back and forth. It's going to be, I believe, actually for the first good 30 seconds or so there was one player on the T side, I didn't actually spot who it was, who wasn't even actively playing. So yeah, myXMG able to pick that one up, but still they've got to be careful, and that's the thing with myXMG, that they can't get too cocky, because
I think also there's like a lot of miscommunication there.
Yeah.
They had a lot of time to actually set up something good after plant, but there's 3 of them stuck in the same spot, which is like really weird. And especially as they had more like the perfect site take. Even though they had no armor and stuff, they had the perfect site take. They had 2 guys that weren't team playing at all, and they got 2 individual frags for like very limited loss. And myXMG were playing the 3rd guy actually further towards B. So there's like loads of opportunities for them to actually get good after plant setups there, even with weaker weapons.
Indeed. So let's see what's going to happen now as we go into round number 15. We are in the last round of the first half. Is it going to be a 9-6 in favour of the CTs, or a 10-5 in favour of the CTs? 1 casualty for each side as we go into this round. And by the looks of things, that bomb could be stacking up, going in over towards the B bomb site. That's a nice pick there from Hyutin onto Hunden in mid. So that bomb's actually going to start to rotate now. It would be interesting to see maybe if the T start to make their way over towards short. And we can have a look at this. This is really great here play from Avian. I like this, because he's creating a lot of attention here on this B bomb site. He's going to be able to find one, and that's him going down. But what the CTs will find is that there's going to be absolutely nobody else there. So now in comes the rotation. Tensky's going to go down, and with 35 seconds left on the clock, the bomb should get planted any second. It looks like we've got a tiny bit of lag there, unfortunately. So hopefully it won't be too long before that gets fixed there. But I really like that roll from Avian there, just lurking around that B bomb site, creating a lot of noise, distracting the CT. So 2 of them went over towards there, leaving just 1 player, which was Tensky, left alive on that A bomb site, and he got shut down pretty quickly there. So I'm not too sure what's happening, but
yeah, I mean, that was one of the situations we saw that Team Orbit were able to play with the CTs when it came to movement. Largely speaking, myXMG have been pretty on top of just. I mean, well, to be fair, Team Orbit have kind of been making their life a little bit easy. Oh, I think there's like a pause later on that caused that little lag there. But either way, the bomb will go down in a 2 versus 3 situation. This should be a Team Orbit round every time. Here, myXMG, are going to have a really hard time to retake this.
Yeah, we will have to see indeed as they do make their way on to this A bomb site. In comes one, and that's going to be MSL out for the count. And it should be a Cillian here to go down any second. All 3 players left alive are actually on low HP, so Hitten's going to go down. Mazaki and Pyth left with not much between them, but Pyth will be able to finish them off, and Team Orbit just about showing that resilience there at the end of the first half. So 9-6 is the score here. In comes the good half, and I think that was a good half. It was a bit back and forth. There was a bit of interesting plays. We saw some aggression from myXMG. Talked about how you'd like to see a bit more, and then when they did show that kind of unpredictable aggression, it really shut Team Orbit down pretty quickly there. But overall, a good half indeed, and it will be interesting now, of course, as we go into the second half. And with the pistol round coming up there, whether Team Orbit on that less favoured CT side can even things up and start to bring themselves back into the game pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, with the aggression, it seemed like myXMG kind of wanted to do that for quite a while, but their economic situation didn't really allow them to do it very safely. Because when you do aggressive moves, obviously you can just do them whenever, and you can just ignore your money. But obviously, it's a lot stronger of a game plan or more consistent when you're kind of in the middle stage of the half to actually make sure that if it does go badly, you can still buy next round. Like you can still actually have a chance. Because if you go to an eco, it obviously can have a really, really horrible effect on how the match actually ends up going. And so we saw that this result as well, by the way, is really, really bad here for Team Orbit. They needed way more rounds on the T side. It's looking overwhelmingly kind of good for myXMG, and especially considering that we're seeing so much better communication so far from myXMG, that should give them a big edge on the T side here of season, which is the favored side. So I would be quite surprised to see Team Orbit, unless they get the pistol, having a good shot to get back into this game from what we've seen so far. But myXMG, they definitely look good. So we'll just have to see how the pistol goes and then how the following situations develop.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing how those middle battles work. Now that the teams are swapped, we saw, as we said, Team Orbit on various rounds playing that aggressive role and really pushing down forward and getting in the faces of Team Orbit when they were on their T side. And I'm looking forward to seeing if myXMG, to see what they can do, to see if they can switch things up a bit and and play aggressively on the T side as well, and down towards mid. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to work with those mid battles. It's always great to see how a team can play on one side in a certain area, and then when they switch onto the other side, whether they play kind of a similar sort of situation, or whether they change things up and just decide to go completely different route and just go with simple strats. I don't know. We'll have to see. Of course, these two teams not, I wouldn't say confirmed rosters. They've both got pickups and various players coming in at the last second to help them out. But I mean, I've got to say, Awian, we talked about him before it went live because he's that player that we've not heard of even before. But he's not been doing too bad actually. I think he's been doing his role, and hopefully he can pick it up in the second half here and show what more work he can do.
Also actually coming in here already to just even trades, but the terrorists aren't gaining a lot of ground onto the bomb site. This is going to give them an opportunity here, but Team Orbit, they push very, very aggressively. They're going to have a quick response time, and it looks like there's a situation for myXMG where they can't actually get the bomb down in time, and we see superior execution coming in from Huiten at the end of the round just to easily secure that, and this was a must win obviously for Team Orbit. And myXMG, though, I feel like they're actually going to be more comfortable on the T side. Well, not just because it's favored, but generally speaking, they kind of had good theory around their CT side of mid. But the problem is that they weren't connecting at all with the AWP, and that was like kind of a poor part of their games. But as a T side, they don't have to play with AWP at all. They can make it work without that. Yeah,
Awian actually is going to be able to pick up 3 quick frags there with the Nova in hand. He will eventually get shut down by MSL, but in comes Huiten to finish things off, so as you would expect.
That was like a headshot through the other guy's head.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's pretty cool. You've got to remember that they only had pistols and no armor, but still 9-8 it is. And as we said, that first pistol round, well, the second pistol round technically, but yeah, that pistol round to start the second half here was absolutely crucial for Team Orbit to pick up. Otherwise, myXMG really could have run away with this one. And myXMG just getting a couple of PT50s and CZ75s in here for round number 18. Really not too much to play with. So it looks like this should be 9-all. And we should have everything still to play for here. And we're actually seeing Avian still deciding to go for that Nova shotgun, and Mizaki going for the UMP 45, as well as that bomb is still just stacked up towards mid. Not really too much going on. They're not going for any kamikaze plays yet as things stand. PB pushing down towards mid is going to find one there as Keve goes down. But game's still on here. You know, it could go either way. You don't want to count any team out here, though, although you know that myXMG are on that more favoured T side. So we'll have to see if they are going to be able to pick up the first full rifle round here of the second half.
All right, so I would not expect a huge amount of AWP play from myXMG based on how many shots we saw miss on the first half, but they're actually going to go for that, and they're going to be up against Mizaki. So this is actually we'll have to see where Mizaki is. There he is. He's actually going towards A here. So the AWP is not going to be challenged at all. So Mizaki, is he going to go for a little bit of a timing, just go all the way down on the ground? Looks like he is actually trying to do that, and he's not going to see anybody just yet. But they do have a very forward defensive line here towards mid. We see Quitten picking up a kill, and they've got Awen as well, who can keep tabs on the vents, even gets a kill as well. So already before anything's happened, we've got myXMG losing players left and right, and now just MSL and Axilion left with AKs, and no ground game for the T's at all, and the bomb is just sitting there in mid, and Team Orbit are just rocking them right now.
I just love this mid control that they're getting. You know, they're really confident with, by the looks of things, and MSL in a really tricky situation. He's 1 on 4 here. They're only an AK-47 in handy. He's going to try and get that bomb down just to help the economy out in some sense, but this was an important round here for myXMG to pick up. After losing the first 2 rounds of the second half, they're going to lose the 4th as well, so Team Orbit definitely not out for the count yet. And they're going to be the first team to hit into double figures here on DE season. So for the first time in the game, actually, I believe that's going to be Team Orbit taking the lead. And myXMG really struggling with their economy. But I like that. You know, I love the mid control there from PB. He was in that lovely little spot down below. And, you know, the AWP player just picked out and didn't even spot him down there. And he was shut down pretty quickly. So Team Orbit not out for the count quite yet.
Yeah, they've got the they know the nades as well for mid, so they can get the early smoke there. Well, PB's actually positioned really well to pick up a couple kills. So he's just going to actually back away. Oh, there it is. He does get the angle again, takes down one player. But generally speaking, it seems like myXMG have to think about how they want to play with mid here, because obviously Team Orbit has showed them that they want to put a lot of pressure there, much like myXMG wanted to when they were playing CT. But it seems that both teams so far have been struggling on how to take mid as the T side. It is harder because the timing is better for the CTs. I mean, and obviously PB is getting that nade straight on over to the choke point from spawn. So they know their nades. So this is going to be quite difficult for myXMG. They've got to try to figure out something here though. Maybe a delayed take or just go for the huge challenge. But to break mid would be quite important for them. We see actually an aggressive push from short as well from Team Orbit.
I'm liking this. Let's see what they can do. Of course, that smoke grenade coming in is going to hide those players just over the other side here, and I'm wondering if they can hear him. So PB, I love this spot that he's taken up in. He's going to spot one player, but he's going to get taken down there. Unfortunately, Keve too quick with that AWP. So that aggressive push from short, as you did spot out, not quite enough work going into it, unfortunately, to do something. And Asilian's going to find Hutton just going right around the corner there. That's 2 frags in a row here for myXMG. We said that they really needed to start getting some rounds on the board here in the second half, and it's looking good like they can do. They've got mid control, and where is that bomb going to go? Nice grenades coming in from both teams, actually, as return frags going in, Avian going down, and Hunden going down as well with those high explosive grenades. But the bomb looks like it could be making its way over towards the B bomb site, and I think that's the best decision here, as Mizaki and Pyth, they've got to try and make that rotation as soon as possible. So MSL just backing up there. Looks like that bomb's going to try and go down, but myXMG need to be careful here because they've allowed so much time left to go down on the clock that these players should be able to rotate relatively quickly. We'll have to see what work they can do. Pyth makes his way, and Mizaki's already over there, so he's been able to pick that first kill up there with that AWP, not allowing myXMG onto that B bomb site. And are they going to be able to get the bomb down here? It's going to be really, really horrible if myXMG let this round slip. And it's a 1 versus 2 situation with the bomb down. In comes Pyth. Let's see what work he can do. He's in a really tricky situation to try and get these 2 players. I think he knows where they are, but it's not going to work. Just about being able to take that one myXMG, but still, I'm almost wondering if that was a little too slow.
Either way, Team Orbit have still got a really good economy going for them, having taken some really clean rounds. And myXMG, again, they're getting beaten a lot of the time by just getting outpicked. They are going for a lot of these pick situations whereby they're going to go for a big set play, or if Team Orbit, for example, or rather, sorry, if myXMG, if they go for these set plays, then I feel like they're going to have more success against Team Orbit here, who seem just a little bit ahead when it comes to these one-on-ones that they keep finding. And Team Orbit want to be aggressive. myXMG have actually started to adapt to this. We can see how defensive they're being on the steps there towards mid, and around this area here. And this is something that they've kind of been conditioned into. So Team Orbit, obviously, something that they could throw in, which would be really smart, is to just play passively now and let myXMG waste the round themselves before Team Orbit come in and do something. And here we're going to actually see them finally ready to play into mid right now, but still some good control from Team Orbit.
It's looking good. Indeed, it's going to be Kitten and PB. They've been the masters of mid, really, in this second half from what we've seen so far. But is it going to change up? It looks like it could do. And that's going to be Hunden with 2 nice frags to start things off. Keve, great work coming in there as his teammate actually had to reload. So lovely AWP work. So that's going to be mid control coming in from myXMG. And they're going to reward themselves by trying to get onto that A bomb site. Mizaki here trying to get some good picks. He's going to get 2 with the AWP there. In comes the grenade kill to respond onto him and take him down. But Alien is going to be the last one left alive here in a 1-on-3 situation. It's not quite over yet. He's in a tricky spot, especially as he's getting smoked out here. But Hunden is left on 3 HP. So it'll be interesting to see if he decides to go for this one, whether he goes for exit frags or what he's going to try and do. It looks like he's been spotted and he's just going to back away from that one, and rightly so, which means that myXMG are going to even up the score here, 11-11. And I just really love the way that they played mid there at the start of that round, the way that they got control of it and just took it away from PB and Kitten. Pretty much, you know, got them that round.
Well, they can actually force a buy now, actually, because him saving this weapon means that they can force a buy. If they hadn't saved the weapon, I don't think they would have really felt super comfortable with it. But yeah, actually,
on 9,000.
oh, actually,
yeah,
no,
PB.
they're fine. It would be fine
okay,
either way. But
PB's got 9,000, so.
But this obviously is a really, really important part of the game now. And both teams, we can see that how they're feeling each other out now as well. I mean, myXMG kind of expected the positions in mid. They got all the picks going into it. They had some really good nades and good support. And, oh, Kevin just barely missing that shot. Does hit a sick follow-up onto PB. And myXMG already getting a little bit ahead. And myXMG now in a position where they can kind of just wait a little bit and allow Team Orbit to put 2 man on each site and then hit a site as 5. That's something they can do, but Team Orbit have a good reaction here. They're going to push B, and oh my goodness, Tensky gets the double.
That's big for the round. You know, that kind of thing could just completely change it and really, you know, bring the momentum back in favour of the Tuesday. Although, you know, that great pick earlier on from Keve actually started things off there. But actually, just thinking about that pick from Keve there, it's almost like you counter-cursed him earlier on, because you said about how they, you know, the T's didn't really need to worry about that AWP too much on the T side here, and they could just concentrate on their rifling. But he's actually been putting in some good shifts with that AWP since starting up here. So, you know, got to hand it to him. You know, he's been picking off his shots when needed and been, you know, gaining control of mid pretty easily with that AWP. So great work coming in, and Mizaki's actually going to be left with the other AWP on the field. He's going to be left alive, and he has been spotted. So
it was quite cool actually that Team Orbit decided in that position, because the standard thing again is for the when you get an early pick as the T's, the standard thing is just to delay a little bit if it's an early round pick, because like, as I said, the CTs kind of have no choice almost to separate on either site and just kind of give up mid. And there is these possibilities for gambles, or as they did, was to try to find information very early on as to what myXMG were doing in a position where they might not all be concentrated onto a committed push to a site just yet. So they could have even caught those. In fact, they did. They caught one player by himself. They had a 2 versus 1. They actually lost it, but that's the kind of stuff that can actually get them back in a very awkward situation like that. So that was really smart on a map where rotations really punish you.
Yeah. But didn't quite work out for them, unfortunately. So that's going to mean that myXMG now have got that 1 round advantage. They've been able to gain control of the game once again after Team Orbit really came out strong here at the start of the second half here on the season, but still not out of it yet. We're into round number 24. Score 12-11, as you can see, and a bit of an interesting buy coming from Team Orbit, because they've got 1 Deagle, but PB has got that up, and that he's got head armor as well, actually. So it'll be interesting to see if he can catch anybody out here. And, you know, we saw this coming in earlier on from myXMG, and they shoved 5 people down mid just to try and support that AWP play. It doesn't look like it's going to be the case here, though, by the looks of things. So that AWP is actually going to be peeking out towards mid, but, you know, whether they're going to be able to capitalize off that, I really don't know. And that bomb's going to be heading its way in towards that B bomb site with relative ease by the looks of things here. In comes one player. Python's going to get caught out, and he goes down. Hunden down to 34 HP and MSL down to 55, but that bomb should get planted with relative ease. Down goes another player, Mizaki, and it's all going to be left up to Arian on this B bomb site. Sorry, he's going to go down, and the bomb will be planted. So myXMG, even though Team Orbit started to show some resilience and started to come back into this game, they're not going down without a fight, and that should easily be their 13th round confirmed on the board.
Yeah, generally speaking, this is starting to get a little out of hand now.
Yeah.
for Team Orbit, as we're seeing the economy really growing for myXMG, just slowly getting the better of these early round situations and forcing Team Orbit into very awkward ones. Team Orbit have been trying to actually play a bit more risky, because I think to make up for a lack of experience on the map together. Because if you play risky and you try to get like a lot of these pushes for information like they've been doing, where they give the other team opportunities to get picks early on a CT, like getting picked as a CT side early on is obviously really bad. But they're going for these risks so they can try to like figure out how to set up a little bit. And we see a team like Virtus Pro that's incredibly comfortable to just have 2 or 3 guys like just playing really far back on the site, sometimes completely giving up map control, just because that change of pace can just throw teams off, and because Virtus Pro is so incredibly confident on knowing how to play as a unit inside the sites.
Yeah, indeed. So round number 25 we go, and it's absolute carnage by the looks of things, as Arian is going to start things off. He's going to get revenge killed though by Tensky with the response there. Mazaki with that AWP, he was able to, no sorry, it was PB who managed to gain control of it and keep it in that last round, and he was able to switch over to Mazaki, who starts off well, taking down Hunden. So it's going to be a 4-on-3. All the action going in over towards the B bomb site by the looks of things, and PB just making his way through vents. We'll see if he's going to be able to find somebody as he makes his way over towards this B bomb site, and MSL's going to be finding him there, so he's going to be able to shut him down. That's the headshot into PB, evening things up onto a 3-on-3 situation. Keve's going to try and put some pressure on the CTs by getting this bomb down and starting to get that timer ticking. So here we go. Let's see if the push is going to come in quickly or what the CTs are going to do. That's a nice pick there from Kitten to start things off. Tensy's going to try and respond. Now it's a 2-on-2. It's a 1-on-2, and there we go. Suddenly Pyth comes in and tries to switch things up. And that was a really great take there from Orbit. I like the way that they managed to gain control of that, but that was a really back and forth round. It just seems like frags were going off across the board, you know, every few seconds.
They weren't able to, myXMG weren't able to quickly enough secure the site.
No.
They were kind of stuck there without the bomb plant for maybe like a good 15 seconds, where it was just like really slowed down. And then by then, when the bomb finally did go down, all the smokes and flashes that they had thrown were basically useless. So just not being able to secure the site quickly enough, which is definitely Team Orbit's credit as well, that they were able to bring in that delay from that fast set play, which in theory should actually be really strong against how Team Orbit have been playing. And it's a great pick there from Kevin onto Uwe, and he's already trying to get early information.
PB responds though, pushing aggressively down onto mid, so that's going to be MSL out for the count in round number 26. And I just, again, got to give gratitude to both of those players actually. To Keve with that AWP, he's really picked up his game in the second half, and to PB as well, who's really been doing some great control of mid for the most part as well. So in comes the grenades as that bomb is actually stacked up right back towards T-spawn, so it could be making its way underground by the looks of things over towards the A-bomb site, because having a look at it, Hunden here, and there's also another player which I believe is actually a Cillian, have got control of A, and they're happy to get that bomb rotating around there. It looks like Team Orbit are going to be aware of it now, and in comes the rotation around the back, but is it going to be quick enough? We're going to have to find out. PB's going to find a player just through vents there any second. That's going to be Tensky, and he's going to be able to get that shot down range, so it's now a 3-on-4 situation. And what's going to happen? Who's that actually playing? I think it's Cillian playing an interesting position. He's going to get shut down here, so now myXMG in a tiny bit of trouble. It looks like this retake could come in with great fashion as Mazaki picks up another lovely headshot onto Hunden, leaving Keve the last one left alive, and he's going to get taken down as well. And that was really great plays there. I loved that rotation and the retake coming in from Orbit.
Yeah, they're really on top of these situations where they actually do get in for the duels just constantly. You just see it. You see how much their skill just comes into play right now. And with players like Quitten, PB, Mazaki, Pyth, even Arian, we can just generally see that the retake potential is so strong because these players are so explosive. And if there's any kind of lull in the kind of grenade work or the team play from myXMG, Team Orbit just, oh, here we go, actually a quick pop flash from PB. He's gonna, might just get a quick double though, the spray down, that was so sick.
Again, controlling mid and shutting down those two players, and they know exactly where the bomb's going to be down as well. So Team Orbit, again, not going down without a fight. They want to take this one to myXMG and show them exactly what work they can do. And PB, you know, we talked about Pyth and you know, the great work that he can be doing, but if I've got to choose a standout player for me, it's going to have to be PB. And you know, getting in those interesting spots on mid, doing those nice little pop flashes and doing some good work there. He is eventually going to go down as soon as we call him out, but it's all going to be left up here to Tensky. In comes the ult shot from Mazaki to shut him down, and that's going to mean that Team Orbit now are only 2 rounds away from securing this game here. And having a look at the economy, myXMG, they are going to be able to buy here, and they are going to be able to do it relatively comfortably, but at the same time, if they lose this one, it's pretty much going to be GG's. Of course, Team Orbit will be on match point, but at the same time, myXMG shouldn't really have too much in the bank here, unless they can get the bomb down. So this is do or die here pretty much for myXMG.
Yeah, we're going to see exactly now how they decide to actually play this. There's no mid-pressure really. They're just playing passively to try to counteract any early aggression that Team Orbit have repeatedly been showing them. So this is a very standard reaction from them. And it's something that Team Orbit could actually, if they're thinking about it, that they could actually anticipate this very easily and understand exactly what's happening just from how what the reactions are, what the conditioning is they put onto the other team. And so far myXMG look to be setting up for what could be an A split here with the bomb down in underground, and they have a lurker who is actually Keva over towards the B side here to catch any pushes from the B players, but also to provide presence there to delay rotation. So myXMG is setting up very, very strongly here for what could be a very, very effective play onto A.
Bomb still stacked down in underground, as we can see, and there's actually going to be a play which will be MSL pushing aggressively up towards mid, and that's going to be PB down. So what's that going to do, and how is that going to change things up? We're about to find out. They're still pushing aggressively over towards that B bomb site, but Pyth is going to respond, so it's a 4-on-4 situation. That bomb is going to get picked up, but it looks like this has been completely changed, because have a look at that setup there. That bomb's actually going to have to make its way out from underground and try and make its way to the B bomb site, but it's not going to happen because Pyth has gone huge. That's going to be the triple for him, shutting down the T's here. And, I mean, what happened there? They had great control, and then suddenly, Pyth.
So what they did, so this is a very classic thing where you have a plan for a round that you set up, everything's going fine, then one player gets like a pick, and then they decide to get a little bit too eager, and then he commits other players with him, and then all of a sudden, the bomb is like left out to dry. Like the bomb was left out to dry. Like here, all the players are pushing B when they're here when the bomb is hit. Like that makes absolutely no sense.
And
again,
ticking down as well.
Again, it's just a basically bad mid-round play, bad mid-round calls, and not enough self-control from myXMG to execute the plan. Because you can do that, but the bomb has to obviously be in a place where it will work. it has to actually be able to work.
Exactly,
so.
And it's going to cost them here because they have been able to get AK-47s, but Tensky's down to Galil, and they've not really got the most amount of grenades possible. So PB, we saw him get a sick pop flash and then 2 quick kills earlier on in this position. Is he going to be able to do it again? It looks like they're aware of it, and they've flashed them off, smoked him off, so it's not going to happen quite as of yet. But Team Orbit here are on match point. Mazaki's going to start things off. Hunter's going to go down as well, and it looks like as the bomb tries to make its way into the B bomb site, it's not quite going to work. So there we go. Team Orbit managing to secure it, and let's not forget here that they were 9-6 down after the first half, and they were on the T side then, and then suddenly both